everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. We've reviewed a lot of headphones on this channel. And I get to the point where I have to hold, especially earbuds, I've kind of pushed back on that. It's really hard to review an earbud or anything that you can't really demonstrate on YouTube. Plus, I like to demonstrate where I can, and it's hard to do that with headphones. But I also think that I can talk fairly descriptively. So I think that I can also kind of convey sound in terms of what I hear or my impressions fairly well. So sometimes I will do headphone reviews, and I hope that I'm able to impart the information that you would want to know before purchasing a pair of headphones. Because you know, if you order them, especially online, you don't get a chance to hear them before you try them. So you want to get some opinions on things. Sound is so subjective. You know, what I hear may be different than what you hear, etc. However, these headphones are just so phenomenally unique that I couldn't say no, and I decided that we needed to review them. If you remember, not too long ago, we reviewed the 99 Classics. Now, those were fantastic. Arguably the best headphones I've ever had or heard. However, what we're looking at today may beat them. Can that be possible? How is that possible? You're not going to want to miss this. No secret that I love headphones. A good pair of headphones is a wonderful thing. It's a private sanctuary of listening awesomeness. It's like sitting inside a movie theater and it's only you, and you've got this incredible surround system, and it's just for you, and you can listen to anything you want. Plus, you don't disturb anybody. These 99 Classics from Meze Audio are some of the best I have ever reviewed, the most comfortable, and these wooden ear cups remind me of some of the crazy Japanese wood headphones I saw at CES. So when I found out that Meze Audio had some even cooler headphones we should check out, I was all over it. Say hello to the 105 AER from Meze Audio. I am very, very excited to see what happens when you take those already incredible headphones and step it up a notch. So AER is a Romanian noun. Air, silent, unseen, essential. Air finds expression through invisible vibrations that become audible poetry. I love it. Packaging is incredible. I still think we have Apple to thank for the incredible packaging that's everywhere, because the whole unboxing experience of the iPhone sort of set a standard. Now, that unboxing experience is usually enjoyed in private, not on a YouTube channel. But when you're opening something like this, you're like, I spent money to get this, hard-earned money at that, and the unboxing experience kind of is reflective of that. You feel the quality everywhere. Magnetic closures. This one has magnetic closure. The foam, the little paraphernalia that goes with it. And here is the set of headphones in a case. Just like the 99 Classics, they got a good ergonomic case. Feels good to hold. Very well built silica packet, and then a form-fitted memory foam piece in there as well. If you haven't jumped on the Meze Audio bandwagon lately, you may want to do so. They make some expensive headphones. They make some mid-range headphones, which is what I would consider these, and they make some entry-level priced headphones. So there's something for everybody. And I wanted to show this as some of the basic stats. I want to point out that these do have 50 millimeter dynamic drivers. So the 99 Classics had a smaller, I think it was a 40 millimeter driver. So these have a bit larger, what I would expect a 50 millimeter driver in a good over-the-ear pair of headphones. That being said, the 99 Classics blew me away with how good they sounded in spite of the smaller driver. They're so well engineered. So I'm expecting great things with these. On the topic of price, the 99 Classics were about $350. These are about $50 more than that. No small investment, but I think that, you know, what you get for the investment, at least what I've seen so far with the others, is well worth the investment. Okay, so we've got this puck, this fabric puck with a zipper. Nice, soft, almost like a terry cloth lining everywhere. And just like the other ones, you get a couple of cabling options here. We have an adapter here, so an 1/8 inch to 1/4-inch adapter. And so it's one set of cables. So that's a little different. The other one had 2 sets of cables, and they're labeled left and right, and you plug them into the headphones accordingly. These have a nice fabric wrapped cup. The 99 Classics had sort of that pleather material, so these should be even more comfortable. It has that same design with a wire frame, not a wire frame. These are cast zinc alloy, I believe. And this headband expands to fit. Super comfortable design. Super comfortable design. Kind of a space age 70s design. Unlike the 99s, these do not have wood ear cups. These have an ABS, I believe. And yeah, just again, the build quality is phenomenal. It's metal, fabric, some molded parts, but it's weighty. It feels good. I don't think it'll be too heavy to wear. The other ones, one of the things that people said was that they were just amazingly comfortable to wear all day. Now, I can't imagine wearing a pair of headphones all day, but for an extended listening session, they should be comfortable. So this says left. I'm going to go ahead and make this the left-hand side. Obviously, you can do this either way you like. And they should be very well balanced. The other ones were perfectly balanced. Nothing worse than buying a new pair of headphones and one side is louder than the other, and so the image is shifted left or right. If you have OCD like I do, that will absolutely drive you bananas. Well engineered, quality headphones like this should not have that problem. That should not be the case. This very nice cable, fabric wrapped, feels good. Nice thin connector, gold plated. And again, if you need a 1/4-inch adapter, that is included as well. So yeah, I like what I see so far. Now, I always say reviewing headphones is one of the most difficult things to do on YouTube because I can't play them for you. I know TechMone and others have tried putting a microphone in there, and yes, while you can get sound through them for the audience, you're not going to ever be able to really give them the headphone experience until they put it on their heads themselves. By the way, there's a look inside the cup there. Kind of interesting. So I'm going to have to spend some time listening to these extensively and then relay from my own, perspective what I thought. What makes that difficult is the fact that we all hear differently. What sounds good to me may not sound good to you. I would say that 80 to 90% of us would agree on what is good sounding in terms of audio, but there will still be outliers. People that say, oh, no, those sounded harsh to me, or those sounded muddy, or whatever. But I'm just going to convey what my experience was. If I think it was a good value, if I think they're overpriced or whatever, I'm going to kind of judge it on all aspects I can think of. I'm going to plug it into everything I can think of: tapes, records, digital audio as well. I'm going to be listening on my phone a lot. I'm going to be using this little Fozzy Audio DS2 headphone amplifier DAC. This has a couple of Cirrus Logic chips in it. So this will give us really good quality sound from Apple Music, which has the ALAC lossless and Dolby lossless and Atmos surround, all that good stuff. So I should have a lot of good sources. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a couple of days with it, and I'm going to report back to you in this very next clip. Well, maybe there'll be a bumper and then the next clip, and it will be me in the future 2 days later telling you what I think of these. But right now, as soon as I get done recording, I'm going to go put them on my head, and I'm going to listen to music, and I'll let you know what I think.
You're watching Record-ology.
Well, hey there, it's me from the future. It's been a few days. A little bit more time has elapsed than I had originally planned on. But that's okay, because I've been able to spend a lot of time with these headphones. I wanted to do a POV. It's POV for you. But I wanted to show you kind of how these fit. And I don't like doing these, look at my head while I'm wearing headphones. But the way that these work and fit is pretty unique. I have a very big head. But as you can see, it sizes just perfectly. And even though they look kind of like, it keeps reminding me like space age aesthetic from the 70s.
Doc? Don't say a word.
But they are the most comfortable headphones of all time. So comfortable. And the wide headband, it's non-fatiguing. This metal art kind of circular area, you don't even realize it's happening once you put it on. I've read reviews of people, though, that also have big melons like me and say that they fit just perfectly. So, so what is the big difference between the classic 99s, which I have back here, and these? These are priced about $50 more than these. And it's kind of evident if you look at them from this side that these ones, that classic 99s, are closed back, whereas these are an open back. And what that means is that the sound stage is impacted by the design of the ear cup. So typical headphones, most of what we grew up with, especially for over-the-ear headphones, were closed back design. It's just what you were used to. That leads itself to a little bit narrower sound stage, a little bit more closed in, and more private listening. There's less sound bleed. So if you're, sitting next to somebody, you don't want them to hear your music and they don't want to hear your music, this is kind of the way to go in that scenario. However, if you don't care so much about what other people think of hearing your music, because there is a little bit of sound bleed. I mean, if you're sitting next to somebody, even with these pretty loud, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I could tell he's listening to whatever. They can hear that. It's not so obnoxious, but there is some sound bleed. But if you don't care about that, or you're by yourself anyway, you're just sitting in your house, the open back design gives you a much wider sound stage, and it's just kind of an open, more airy design. Now I keep going back to the title of these, or the name of these, a 105 AER, basically the 105 Air. That's such a perfect name for these, because being an open back design lends it to a very airy sound. It just sounds really, really natural. And that's what I keep thinking about, is it's so natural. It doesn't sound colored. Like, it doesn't sound like, oh, they're just throwing amplified bass or treble or mid-range, whatever. It doesn't sound like there's any EQ at work. Now, I believe these are true headphones, so there is some EQ, but versus a monitor that's totally flat response. But these sound so neutral. They sound so natural, so just open air, airy. I keep thinking airy. It's a perfect name for these. And, there's plenty of bass, plenty of highs, plenty of mids, but it doesn't sound like any of those aspects are artificially enhanced. It just sounds natural. It just sounds like the music. So what happened, and I don't think I've ever had a pair of headphones of all the ones I've reviewed that I've put on, I could not take these off. As soon as we got done filming the last segment several days ago, I spent hours just walking around listening to everything with these on, and they sound so good. Just so natural. Everything I connected to, it just was a good, natural sound. Now, one thing that's kind of funny is when I was first starting out, I would listen to something and I'd be like, oh, that sounds a little bit boxy, or that sounds a little bit, I can hear a little bit of echo, or I was noticing these, what I thought were imperfections in the headphones at first. Then I realized that these are so transparent that I was hearing the studio or the recording or the mastering imperfections, because these are so transparent. I was hearing the imperfections in the recordings and the ambient sound, the acoustics of the recording studios, and you could hear the difference. It was weird. It was kind of like peeling back another layer of resolution of your music, something you may not have heard before. So I'm blown away. These are the best. These have to be the best headphones I've ever reviewed, because they're just so neutral and they sound so good, and the music just comes through, and you're focused on the music, not the equipment, when you're listening to your music. And that's the way it should be. So best headphones I've ever reviewed. I love these things. I know they're a bit of a significant investment, but it's a good investment if you want, kind of the best sound. Another thing that's sort of subtle I want to point out, both of these are well reviewed in terms of on Amazon. They will say that people just love them. They just absolutely love them. The one bit of feedback, though, I noticed on the 95 Classics is that the sort of TPU leather ear cup material gets a little hot for some people. I didn't really notice that, but people say they have to take it off to, let the sweat air out because they'll be sweating. These have a fabric ear cup, sort of a very soft fabric ear cup. These feel even better, and I would prefer this over this. But like I said, both work fine for me. Hardware, build quality is impeccable. It's nearly all metal and fabric and just very well implemented. well tuned, like I said before. So if you're looking for and you have a budget for this level of headphone, I would say go for it. These are the best ones. If you want to save $50, you can go for the 99 Classics. They're a hair lighter weight, a hair smaller ear cup. I think it probably comes across on camera there. That being said, they both cover the ear, my ears. I have pretty big ears. Very well. Also, look at the thickness of the ear cup is a bit more hefty on this, but these are great. These are great too. The biggest difference, I would say, the sound is very similar too, but the big difference is that these being open back are just much more neutral, more airy, more spacious, where these are a little bit more boxed in, not boxy like a cheap speaker, but just, due to their closed back design. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's for your entertainment. It's for your benefit if you're shopping, and I hope that it did the trick in that regard. Don't forget, we've got a membership program, 99 cents a month. We've got all sorts of merch, 45 adapters, Seaberg adapters, and our new channel, Detour with Record-ology, and you're cordially invited to join us there. Links down below for these products. They are solid. I would recommend them. Double thumbs up. But I also want to let you know that we've got an incredible amount of product to review, things coming your way. But that's going to do it for today, guys. So happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.